I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.
Welcome to Millionaire Before 30, where we are on a mission.
You guys, we are on a mission. We have created this entire show to give you guys the blueprint of how to become a millionaire before 30 years old. I'm Ryan Zolin.
I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and we got Albert Bowie over there, as always. And we are so thrilled, so excited. We have Tim Bratz here. Tim Bratz has built up 4,800 doors, $400 million in his portfolio, has been selling some of that off, but it is perfect that you're here because this show is about thinking bigger.
I love it.
And
Let's
you
do it.
are the guy.
I appreciate you guys having me. I'm super pumped to be here.
This is awesome. So, first of all, will you give everybody kind of a little synopsis, a little bit as we're warming up, as people are jumping on? Will you kind of give people the origin story of how you found real estate, why real estate, and what you're doing with it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was going through college when the market was going crazy last time. So 03 to 07, I was a college student, and I was motivated to make money and build wealth, and so everybody was making money in real estate. Naturally, I gravitated towards doing that, and I kind of went down the path that I think a lot of people go through, which is I interned for a big real estate business company, and then I got my real estate license, and then I started brokering real estate, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to own real estate. So I got into wholesaling, flipping, buying some single-family rentals, and eventually fell into an 8-unit apartment building in 2012. And so in 2012, I'm like, man, I really like the scale of apartments, and it meets my ambitions and what my goals were. And so I really started narrowing or just focusing in on that. And then, dude, you put one foot in front of the other for another 10 years, and it wasn't all easy. There's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and had to actually sell off my entire portfolio in 2015-16, start all over again. So I built that portfolio that you're talking about since 2015.
Wow, 4,800 doors in 7 years.
And we transacted probably another 2,000 on top of that.
So now, is this all you own it? This whole show is all about thinking big today. So. Talk to us about a little bit how you went from going into the thought of real estate to then being a realtor to then the idea of even owning that many doors. How did that thought process come together?
Yeah, well, an early mentor of mine gave me a great analogy, and it was, listen, you can be the best driver, but if you're not in the right vehicle, you're not going to win the race, right? Like if we're both driving down the street and you're in a Ferrari and I'm in a Ford Pinto, dude, guess what? You're going to beat me. Yep. If we stop at the stop sign, and I get out, and you get in the Pinto, and I get in the Ferrari, I'm going to win, right?
For sure.
It's a lot less about the driver and more important about the vehicle that you're in.
Wow.
And so that was really important to me, that I knew real estate was a good vehicle. But then the jockey does matter. If you have two of the same horses, then the jockey does matter after that. So,
sure.
To me, I knew that I wanted to be in the right vehicle. I knew there's a lot of different ways that people can make money. But real estate wasn't an experiment for me. It was I didn't see it as an experiment. I didn't see it as a startup. It wasn't some thing that could either go boom or go bust. It was so time tested that I knew it would last. And if I lasted, if I stuck with it, I knew eventually I could build some real wealth with real estate.
Wow.
Love it. It's interesting. I watch these YouTube videos on, the where everybody lives in America. It's like this. They show like the lights, the satellite views, and where the lights are. And there's literally only certain places that we live in this country, and buying in those certain places in this country is always it's always gonna be popular. It's always gonna be a great asset to buy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like there's only a certain amount of places that have utility and water and economy and jobs and all these things. And if you get a piece of that and you hold it long enough, you build wealth.
Yep, for sure, dude. If you just
and you're just buying all of them.
not all of them. You know what's funny is I got some statistics from 2018 off of the HUD website, Housing and Urban Development website. And there are over 20 million multifamilies, it's like 21 million multifamily units in the country. And that was in 2018. So it doesn't include anything that was built in 19, 20, 21, or so far this year. And here's the thing. There's over, I think it's 700,000, 692,000 apartment buildings that are 5 units and bigger. Okay? No, hang on. Yeah, 692,000 that are over 5 units and bigger. And there's about 90,000 of those are 50 units and bigger. Okay? I own about 60 buildings. And there's over 700,000 of them.
I just did the math here.
Right?
So
So
I mean,
it's like
your 4,800 units to 21 million is a fraction of a fraction.
It is. And so there's plenty of opportunity.
That's
right?
what I'm getting to.
There's
Yep.
plenty of opportunity. I have an unbelievable lifestyle, have been able to impact a lot of people in a positive way, and there's no limitation on how many opportunities there are out there. So even though I own a bunch, the number one owner of all real estate, of all apartment buildings in the country, owns 500,000 doors, which is a lot.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, it's 2.4% is the Goliath in the industry. It's not like Google, who owns 80% of the market. You know what I mean?
Right.
The Goliath, which tells me that the other 97.5% of all the apartment buildings out there and multifamily out there is owned by mom and pop investors. You know, so there's plenty of opportunity for anybody to get involved in multifamily and make a lot of money or build a lot of wealth.
So this show is about thinking big. You obviously had that. I think it probably innate. It was probably just something that you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's part a game, part like a passion, and mixing it all up together. But how do you keep expanding? How do you keep thinking bigger once you're at 400 million?
Dude, we had a great conversation about this last night over a couple of cocktails and some whiskey on the rocks. And and so you asked me this question. You know, I'm a believer that anybody can become a millionaire in this country. I think anybody can do it. I don't think you're born that way. Now, in order to become a billionaire, maybe there's some people who are psychos, you know, like you and me and probably you, and who are just like so driven and so built to just push the limits. And you know, for me, early on it was about money, but then once your basic needs are met, and you got a roof over your head, you got food on the table, and you got clothes on your back, it's a lot less about money. It's just about upping the ante. It's about pushing the limits. It's about seeing what you could do. Money's just a way to keep score. And so for me, it's just like some of the comments that I got. I just bought an amazing property, kind of crazy, but I bought an island last year over by Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, and then I needed a mainland property, and the only mainland property that was for sale that had like a boat dock that was close to the island was like this $5 million property. That's just stunningly beautiful. So I needed it for parking and boat dockage and transportation, all that stuff. So I ended up buying it last week.
It's on your Facebook, right?
Yes.
Can we pull that up? Can you guys pull up that house that he just bought on the Facebook account?
So while you guys do that, a lot of the comments that I get when I post stuff like that on social media is like, oh my gosh, man, thank you so much for just being a light, for raising the bar, for inspiring others, like letting us know what's possible. And I think once your basic needs are met, you kind of shift over to almost feeling an obligation. It's like the whole Spider-Man thing, like with great ability comes great responsibility, right? And I have a very big sense of that, as we talked about it last night. So it's just kind of like pushing up in the ante. Not to a point where I would ever put myself in jeopardy or reckless in things that I buy just because I want to buy new things, but showing people like what's possible. You know, I'm a blue collar kid from Cleveland, Ohio. My dad was a cop. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I don't come from money, and but I come from a very supportive family. You know, like you can do anything. Like we can make this happen. And then I just saw people who were having success in real estate, and I'm like, dude, if this guy can do it, I'm going to get rich doing this stuff, right? Because there were a lot of people who weren't that smart making a lot of money in real estate. And I just kind of borrowed belief from them. You know, and then once I did it once, I was like, damn, I can borrow belief for myself. I did it once, I can do it again. You know, and it just kind of
Love it.
Started snowballing in that way.
So this show, obviously, Millionaire Before 30 is for the younger crowd. What advice would you give to someone maybe that is newer to real estate or under 20, let's even say 25 years old? What would you give as advice to get started? Because there's so many different directions you can take in real estate. What's step one?
I think the number one skill set to learn is how to find deals right now.
That's
Oh,
it.
You know,
sourcing them.
if you can go and source deals, that is such an important skill set, and you will be in demand no matter what market you're in. So
it.
if you can figure out that skill set, but how do you figure out that skill set? Well, one, you can GTS, Google that shit, right? Just pull it up on Google. How do you find deals? Or you find great mentors. You know, I know you have an amazing program on how to wholesale and how to source deals.
Yep.
And you just find out, get yourself in the right rooms. That's something that I didn't figure out until I was 30. I was 29 and a half years old, and I joined my first mastermind. And dude, my trajectory was, I'd figure it out, and then all of a sudden it went to the moon. And so once I got putting myself in a mastermind room, and I got educated on some of this stuff, and I had other resources. Every level comes with another level of hurdles and struggles and things that you got to go through. And so for me, it was as I had more and more success, and I hit another layer of problems or issues or struggles, that community helped me continue to level up, right? And punch through any glass ceiling every 90 days as we continue to meet.
Thank you, Matt.
Well, yesterday you we had, you know, Pace, Jamil, and I, and you came up with the 2 steps of success. 1, take action.
Yeah.
2, squat up.
That's it.
Right?
If there's
Is
two
it that
things,
simple,
if there's
Tim?
two, I think so. Like if there's 2 things, I think people overcomplicate it and they think they have to have all the information. Number 1 is you just got to go. You got to go, right? The analogy I used yesterday is you can't learn about swimming by reading about swimming in a book.
That's it.
Right? You can't consult people about what's it like to learn how to swim and they can give you feedback. Unless you get in the friggin' water, you're not going to learn how to swim.
That's right.
You got to jump in order to learn. You got to buy a piece of property in order to learn how to do real estate. It's not learn and then take action. It's take action and the positive consequence, the result of that is going to be learning the action, learning the activity. So go and take action. Like you got to just go and do it. And I think putting that constraint on yourself of just contracting a property and then you're like, oh shit, now I got to go get the money. Oh shit, now I got to go and close on this thing. Oh, now I got to go get a contractor. It like forces you to move along because otherwise we all paralyze ourselves by overthinking this stuff.
For sure.
And keep it. Keep these properties.
Yeah.
Build it up.
If it's a good property in a good area, hold it as long as you possibly can, right? I made money in really war zones initially, and I went into tough neighborhoods. There's bullet holes through the front windows, and we turned those. But I always bought it at a discount. I sold it for a little bit more, made some money, and then I got out of those areas.
Yep.
So it was a stepping stone to get into better stuff.
Look at this. Look at this house.
Right.
Can you put this up? Look at this, guys. Fantastic. What a gorgeous house.
Yeah, it's a
That's
really
the $5
special
million
house.
one?
Yeah, I bought it for 5. They're into it for 8. Look at that dock. That dock house
Wow.
it's got a bar, a kitchen, everything in a couple of bunks in there. So
We're
you can
going to
sleep
go
out
there. Albert, you in?
Hell yeah.
I'm in. Look
All
at that.
right.
Only $3,000 a night. You guys can.
That's it. Done. That's easy. All day. That's a bargain.
You had
No, but we're gonna
Yeah.
get some jet skis. It's
Wow.
gonna be really cool. We're gonna build out.
Where's your island? Is this your island right here?
So my island is essentially, if you're looking at this picture,
Yep.
it's at about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
It's legitimately, I don't even know, a mile away. I mean, it's like 5 minutes by a pontoon boat from my dock. This is the nearest mainland property in the United States to my island. And so it gives us easy access. There's a ton of room to park cars. And we're doing like glamping on the island. So we're going to build that all out. And we needed some place to transport people and all that. So this will also be a wedding venue.
So I'm still a little naive to owning islands. How does this all work? Like, are you in the U.S.? Are you what? Does your island have a name?
It's called Rose Island, but I'm thinking about renaming it to Legacy Island.
Okay.
So we're considering that. Here's the thing. I bought, Pace, right?
Course, yeah.
And so that whole creative real estate investing thing is something that I needed to learn early on. You know, so how to creatively finance and structure deals and all those things, because deals were plentiful back when I first got started in 08 and 09, but money was nowhere.
Yep.
And so I understood the creative finance side of things. And then all of a sudden it was pretty easy. You had deals, you had money, you didn't really need to creatively structure anything for a few years. And then kind of things turned, right? Money's everywhere, but deals are harder to find.
Yep.
So found some deal, or, you know, I came across this one property, was able to structure it in a way. It was a mountain house up in North Carolina, and it was like stunningly beautiful, and I creatively financed it. And I essentially structured it like I structure my apartments. Okay. So I'll get financing, or I get the seller to finance it, and then I go and raise the down payment from my investors.
Sure.
So I'm out of pocket, no money. And I've never structured a deal that way, but I essentially gave like a much lower return to the investors, but then I gave them a free week at the house, the mountain house. And dude, it was like an overwhelming response from people who were like, I just want it from a lifestyle perspective.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh shoot, well I could probably do this again. And so I was looking for kind of like a plantation, kind of like Forrest Gump style house down in, I live in Charleston, so south of me, between Charleston and Savannah. And I was looking for some acreage, and I looked for things that had 100 acres or more, and that island popped up. And didn't have an address, and I was like, "Where is this? I can't find it anywhere." It's because it was an island, didn't need an address, you know. It was its own, and it was at a price point where I was like, "Man, this kind of makes a lot of sense." It was $2.5 million
For the island.
for a whole island, 110 acres,
What the hell?
with a house and infrastructure and a dock.
You stole an island.
I think I did, dude.
stole an
I was
island.
like, I can't not buy this thing, you know.
I mean,
So I structured it all up. I came up with a game plan of how can we turn this liability into an asset.
Yep.
How can we cash flow it? And the glamping tents was kind of the lowest barrier to entry and highest return on investment for the amount of capital that we had to outlay. Wow. And so we're going through that whole process, but we renovated the main house and the dock and all that kind of stuff right now. And but then I needed a mainland property. So this is like turned into something that has a mind of its own now, because I was planning on just having a lifestyle piece of property, and then I had to buy this other $5 million property, and then it's turning into like a real business. So it's not like just buying an apartment, putting the right management in place, and telling them to rock and roll with it.
Love it. Let's open this up because we've got Tim for about 30 more minutes, and we didn't get a lot of question and answers on the live yesterday that we did. So make sure if you have questions for Tim, we got 30 minutes with him here, and then he has to bounce and go see Carlos. So make sure you put in your questions, and we'll get to as many of these as we possibly can. This is an interactive show. This doesn't happen without you guys putting in the questions and the comments. Obviously, if you have a win this week, if you have locked up a deal, if you have sold a deal, if you've gotten paid, we want to hear about it. We want to celebrate you. We want to ring the victory bell. So let's get the comments in and get going. Also, if you are getting value out of this, make sure you hit the like button. It really, really, really helps out the channel. We want to bring in as many amazing people as possible into our world. Hit that like button. It really helps out. You guys did a great job yesterday. Let's do it again today. That's awesome.
Going back to kind of what you asked earlier on, I think, if I'm talking to a younger version of myself,
yes,
in the 20s, dude, we think we're going to light the world on fire. We think we're going to conquer everything. We're invincible, and we can run through brick walls and all this stuff. And I think that can be a tool, right? Sometimes people see that as naive, but I think that's like a really cool tool that you can utilize in order to push things forward. Having the understanding that you will overestimate what you can accomplish in 12 months. We all do, right? I set my goals, and I always overestimate what I can do in 12 months, but I always try to push the bar a little bit. But what's insane, we all want this to happen faster than it will.
Right.
What's insane is if you just put your head down and you keep your head down, you don't look left, you don't look right, you just keep working for 3 to 5 years.
That's it.
Dude, you will grossly underestimate what you can do in 3 to 5 years. This compound effect, this snowball effect starts popping, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, like my entire life goal was $100 million in real estate. I took down a $100 million deal last year, just one deal, and it wasn't that long ago that $100 million was my goal, and so just understand the compound effect is working for you regardless of the results that you see right now, and it's either moving the needle forward or you're falling backwards, right? But just keep on doing the activities, and the activities that matter are sourcing deals and then talking to people about raising money. If you're doing those two things, you're really building a great foundation for taking deals down.
Matt, do you have that graphic of wholesaling being the foundation? There it is.
Man.
This is what I was talking about last night. Yes. Discounted properties. That's it. Finding the deals is that's the foundation. And then once you figure out that skill, then you can get into fixing and flipping, rental portfolio, development, be in the bank, coaching and mentorship. But it starts, like Tim said, you have to find the deals. You have to build the skill of finding discounted properties, finding opportunities.
And doing that transcends asset classes. You can get into whatever you want. Just the foundational elements of real estate investing are finding deals at good discounts, and then being able to raise capital and structure it in a creative way. If you can do those two things, now you can transact deals. Once you cross those two bridges, then you really got to focus on operations, because I've seen people who can raise money who cannot operate real estate, and then they end up losing it. You know.
Before we get into questions, Commercial Empire. When is it? April?
Yeah, April 5, 6,
Tell
7.
everybody about it and how to find it.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in investing in apartment buildings or multifamily and starting to grow that
Everybody
side of your portfolio.
watching this is interested in it. Everybody watching it, everybody in this room is interested.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of was just sharing my journey on social media over the years, and in 2018, some people reached out and they're like, "Listen, you need to teach, you need to coach on this stuff." So it came up with a program called Commercial Empire. It's essentially the steps to real estate investing. We go over like foundational elements of how to take those complex ideas and thoughts and vocabulary that I think really hold people back from investing in apartments, and simplify it to like a elementary level, right? Like third grade level, because that's how I think. If it's too complex, dude, too mystical, it's over my head. But I've gotten pretty good at taking complex ideas and making it so everybody can understand it. And so that's what the foundational section's about. And then we go into how to find off-market direct-to-seller apartments. And then we go into how to underwrite off-market direct-to-seller. So once you have a deal come in, like how do you underwrite it? How do you value it? So we go over that. And then we go over how to raise money and structure the financing and pay your investors, and how to do it all very black and white, nothing in the gray area, very clean, and doing it the right way. And then we go over how to operate it. How do we renovate, project manage, property manage, asset manage, and then exit strategies. And so we hit on all that stuff along with some business development. I bring in my entire team, and you guys have access to everything. So yeah, if you guys are interested, check out commercialempire.com, and you can get some more details on it.
Put that on the screen, Matt, when you get a chance.
Awesome.
5 steps, right? Find, underwrite, raise funds, operate, exit.
That's it. Wow. That's it. Very clean, very simple process. Yeah. And it can be used for apartments. It can be used for mobile home parks, self-storage facilities, retail, office. There's some nuances that change from asset class to asset class, but overall, like the fundamentals and the framework can be used on any asset class.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Open it up, Alejandra. Let's get some questions for Tim. While he's here. Here we go. Oh, all right. I just got my $35K assignment wired to my bank. Here we go. Congratulations, Solutions REI.
Congratulations.
That's
amazing.
Incredible. $35,000. I mean, go Google what is the average income for couples in the United States. You're right there. I mean, it's incredible. $35,000 from one conversation, from you going out there and sourcing that one opportunity. Keep it going. You got great momentum. Keep it going. We celebrate you. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
There we go. And there is commercialempire.com. There it is. If you guys are interested, I'm telling you guys, I mean, even if you're getting into this and you're finding your first deals, what Tim is going to teach you in that is going to be absolutely something that you can implement in your business right away. So check that out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
What are the questions we got? Rattle me with some questions. Your
Oh,
kids'
there
book.
you go.
Yeah. Your kids' book. What was it called? Oh, it's called Little Legacy Library. Legacy Library. So we took some. This is an impact piece, right? Brent and I were talking about this over whiskey last night too. And one of those things, like I was coming back from a mastermind and I was reading The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, and I was like, damn, these principles are really, really powerful. And I was 31 years old when I was reading it. I was like, can you imagine understanding these things and having these principles earlier on in life, and my daughter was 2, and I got off the plane and I started Googling like what are some personal development or like achievement-oriented, success-oriented, entrepreneur-oriented books, and there's a lot out there about how to be nice and how to be kind and how to share, but there wasn't much. There's really only a couple of books that share business principles and stuff, and so. We decided that we should go and write our own.
Awesome.
So we took the concepts from Think and Grow Rich, and we made Think Big and Go to Baseball Camp. We took the concepts of Richest Man in Babylon and made The Richest Kid in the Neighborhood. And we took the concepts of how to win friends and influence people and made how to win class president.
That is so
So
cool.
it's
cool.
like, you know what's really fun about it is I get stories of like, hey, my kids love these books. My son, the impetus of his new golf cart washing business was because he read Think Big and Go to Baseball Camp, and he wanted to start his own business and make money to be able to go and buy a 4-wheeler or whatever it was.
That is so awesome.
And we get some really cool stories. And then I got messages from parents being like, dude, don't tell anybody, but I think I learned a lot from this book.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, so
That's
it's neat.
awesome. There you go. Little legacy library.
Yeah, I would say age range is probably 4 to 10 years old, somewhere in that range.
That's like my reading level, so we're good.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's
exactly.
perfect.
Me too. I told you, I think at a 3rd grade level. So
Chris
like, falls
asks,
right there.
I've been having a hard time wholesaling cash flowing single family homes. Do you think it's easier to move multifamily that are tenant occupied versus single family that are occupied? Interesting. Great
Yeah,
question, Chris.
so I came from doing turnkey. So I was doing turnkey single family rentals.
Explain what turnkey is.
Turnkey is I bought a house, I fixed it all up, I rented it, I put good management in place, and then I packaged it up and sold it to an investor where they don't have to do anything. They just write a check, and then they get money coming in, right? Plus they have the equity upside,
Right.
and really they're passive. So I mean we did all right. We were moving 80 to 100 houses a year back in 2015, 16, and 17, and then I went all in on apartment buildings in late 2017. But I mean, I would contact management companies. If you're having a hard time moving these properties, contact a management company. Everybody that they manage for is your buyer, you know? So all you have to do is contact them, give them a cut of the wholesale fee or pay them a commission, and have them push it out and be your dispositions arm to your wholesaling business. That's an easy way of doing it.
So what, just Google management companies?
Yeah, just Google search management companies in whatever the area is who manages property, and then reach out to the owners or the property managers, offer them a commission. That's awesome. And then that's a great way that you can have somebody moving properties for you. The other option is pulling a list of all the cash buyers of rental properties and non-owner occupied cash purchases in that neighborhood or in that zip code over the past 3 years. And you can pull that entire list, have access to list, and if they bought something one time, they'll probably buy something again, right?
Absolutely.
They're probably growing their portfolio because just like you and me, we're all looking to continue upping the ante and growing our portfolio. So I would do that. Wholesaling multifamily, I would say, yeah, I mean, multifamily is really hot right now, right? Everybody loves multifamily. Everybody wants to be involved in multifamily. It's fairly easy to wholesale apartment buildings. It's very similar, wholesaling apartment buildings under $1 million. Once you get over $1 million, there's a few more complexities. It's probably better for you to buy it as a, buy it and like transact it and do like a double closing or something. It gets a little bit convoluted when somebody needs to go out and get financing for the property.
Yeah. Love it.
Great question, though. Yeah, really good.
Cole, yesterday you said build 100 single-family portfolio before knocking down multifamily. What would you say to knocking down smaller single-family portfolios to build to that 100 doors?
Yeah, good question. And maybe I wasn't totally clear, but I meant get up to 100 doors as quickly as possible. I don't care how you guys do it. It could be single family, duplexes, quadplexes, small multifamily, a 30 unit, a 40 unit, an 8 unit, doesn't matter. But when you want to go and compete with a lot of the big investors, you need a decent sized portfolio. And I think 100 units is kind of like the bare minimum of where you want to be in order to start getting into big deals. I also know people who have massive portfolios of 20 to 80 unit apartment buildings. And I think you can build a lot of wealth that way too. And that's kind of a good little niche to be in because it's kind of bigger than the small people that the smaller investors can qualify for. And it's smaller than the big investors want to get involved in. So and it's typically mom and pop owned, you know?
Well, this conversation really was about, getting access to commercial brokers and showing them that you have experience,
Right.
you can close deals, because they won't give you the time of day.
Right.
Because they have long lists of people waiting for great opportunities
Yep.
that have the funds, have the experience, have the management, have all these operational skills. And if you come in off the streets with none of that, you're pushed to the very bottom of the line, and
Yeah.
you don't get any deals.
They're not going to take you seriously, you know. But by being able to say, hey, I've raised money on all these deals, I've closed and transacted on some really hairy deals that were pretty tough and difficult projects that nobody else could qualify for, I deserve a seat at the table. That allows you to kind of bump your chest out a little bit more and posture up with some of these brokers and sellers.
Love it. Look at Cole rocking out. All right, Cole. That's awesome.
Okay.
Vasily.
From Vasily, do you invest in multifamily and or commercial?
That's to Brent.
That's to me.
Brent.
No, I only own houses at this point, but Tim is convincing me otherwise. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll get him. We'll get him there.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Pace. I just met up with Pace right before this,
Mm-hmm.
and on set, and he's like, "Dude, we just gotta take something down. Like, let's go."
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might, yeah. I know of a 250 unit deal that I'm gonna do with Pace probably, and dude, all I need you to do is pull out the pocketbook,
Done.
write a big check,
Done.
for $4 million,
That's
and then
it.
and then you're involved, and then you're a partner.
Perfect. Yeah, easy
That's it.
peasy.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah. Done. So yes, to answer the question, I'm huge in multifamily. I own 250
About to
doors.
be.
Logan, in virtual wholesaling, what markets or type of markets would you target? My goal is to get my first deal and scaling that to multiple deals a month in virtual wholesaling.
Yeah, virtual. I would say, I mean, the markets that I move in, and a lot of the other markets, a lot of the Midwest, a lot of the Southeast, a lot of the stuff that's in like primary markets gets eaten up and snagged up really quickly. So if you're in Dallas or you're in Phoenix or you're in Miami, it's going to be pretty tough. You're competing with like some people with some really deep pockets. If you're virtual wholesaling, I would look at like a secondary market, like a Savannah, Georgia, or I'm just making up, cities, but
Sure.
But like Savannah's like that size, or I own some stuff in Lawton, Oklahoma, Springfield, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio, Indianapolis, like not really like the big, hot, sexy markets, but they're good markets where there's a lot of buyers in those markets.
That's it.
That's the key, and you can find great deals. There's plenty of inventory there. And just make sure you have good boots on the ground who can go. Like I'm a big believer whenever I'm wholesaling that I want to take all of the stress out of it for whoever the buyer is, where they don't have to essentially do anything. So when I was wholesaling, and we wholesale apartment buildings once in a while, we'll go in, we'll contract it, and we will actually do all the inspections, and we'll get all the bids, and we'll get all the quotes, especially because, and we'll even line up like financing and underwriting with our finance guy, and so really they have funding in place, all the due diligence is done, they know what all the economics are as is right now, and they know what the numbers are once it's stabilized, meaning after repair value, and all they need to do is say yes or no, and then come up with the cash for the down payment.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
So if you can take all the other ancillary stuff off the table, and all the other bottlenecks that could potentially be posed, that's the way to wholesale it, because there are a lot more nuances in multifamily wholesaling than there is on single family side. So just try to take all the complications that could arise off the table, and it's going to be a lot easier to start moving properties.
Logan, go where there are buyers.
Yep.
That's it. Don't overthink it. Just start testing it out. The beautiful thing about being proactive in our business is you can get a list of 200-300 addresses in 3 different markets, start calling them, and start getting real-time results on where do you want to be? Where are you getting a better response? Where are you getting really good conversations, and these are good deals that are going to net you on average about $15,000, right? That's the market. Those are the markets that you want to be in. And I highly suggest that you go after markets that the after repaired value is minimum $150,000, because we average about 10%, and the same amount of effort goes into making $15,000 as it does making $5. And I'd rather you get that extra $10K. All right, buddy.
It's great advice.
Awesome.
Good question.
Ooh, okay, Dimitri.
All right.
I see you. I see you.
Hold on a second.
Okay, look at that.
Look at that.
$25,000. And he lives in Europe.
What?
$25,000 in assignments.
Where does he live?
$20,000 in JVs.
Oh, let us know where you live. That is incredible. All the
amazing.
way across the ocean,
No excuses.
getting deals. Listen, if you live in this country and you are not being proactive and going out there, this should give you inspiration.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Congratulations, Dimitri. That is absolutely phenomenal. 7 deals, 25K, 20K on a JV. Awesome.
You know what's cool is like,
That's for sure.
I love that. You know, a lot of people, we create these stories in our head like, oh, hey, I don't live in the United States, so how am I gonna do deals in the United States? I need to be there. I actually think you can look at any of these excuses or you know, any of the excuses or just blame of why I'm not successful or why I'm not having more success,
Sure.
and turn it into really a strength. You know, I think it's actually better to not be in the market because it forces you to think more like a business owner. Instead of having to go to the property, be at the property, and you become the bottleneck in your business, by being remote, it actually helps them say, hey, who do I need to put in place? What systems do I need to put in place in order to then build the business out the right way? And you really set a better foundation that way. So I like, again, creating those constraints.
Belgium. Dude.
Well, this is something that we've talked about. Building the right team
Yes.
is critical. That whole book, Who Not How, powerful, right? The whole philosophy behind Who Not How is powerful. Who is better at this certain role, this job, this situation than you? Who has that experience? Who's going to really focus in and take that off your plate so that you can be a business owner? Because when we start, we're out there. We're self-employed. Don't get it wrong. I mean, we are on the court.
Yep.
Right? We have to shoot the shots. We have to, do all of those things ourselves. And then once our income gets to a certain point that we can fight, like have the responsibility of the financial future of the people that work with you, then you start building out an incredible team. Right? It comes with a lot of leadership skills. It comes with a lot of experience. It comes with a good, healthy bank account, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, I mean, you realize that people and marketing are the only two things that are an investment in your business, right? Like those are two things that will yield a return. Meaning, the more money that
people and what?
People and marketing.
Love it.
People in marketing. The more money you put into marketing, if it's done the right way, should yield a certain return on that. So if I'm going to spend $10,000 a month on marketing, I know that I should be able to get $50,000 of deals. If I'm going to pay somebody $60,000 a year to be on my team, that's not an expense. A lot of people view that as expense. If they are screened, if they are trained, and they are measured properly as an employee, they are an investment. And they should yield you probably 3 to 5 times whatever their salary is in additional revenue
Could be
or
10
savings.
times.
Could be
Yeah.
10
Could be
times.
100 times.
Yeah.
It just depends on what it is. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love it.
Love it.
What was that question? Here we go.
All right, from Zachary. I'm still doing deals with Warzone properties in Indiana. How did you get to a turning point to want to take on bigger opportunities?
Dude, what you focus on expands, right? When I went out on vacation and I got a lake house and rented it in August of 2017. Had my family come out, had my wife's family come out. I'm hanging out, grabbing coffee one morning, doing my net worth statement on my computer, just reflecting on life. And I realized 90% of my net worth came from my passive investments and my equity in in buying apartment buildings. I had about 300 doors at that time. Even though I had this full-time business flipping 100 houses a year, it was 10% of my time on the apartments, but 90% of my net worth. And I had this other business that was flipping 80 to 100 houses a year. And, I think there just comes a point where you're like, you know what if I dedicate all my resources to just doing apartments? And what if I just double down on that? Wow. And I pivoted and I shut down a successful business in order to focus on a more successful vehicle, kind of like what we talked about at the beginning, right? It was a better vehicle for me. And so I just committed to it. And guess what happened? When all of a sudden you shut down any other single families that came into my world, the next deal that came across my acquisitions guy's desk was an 11-unit apartment building that we ended up wholesaling because it needed more work. It was a little bit too hairy. And we wholesaled it. We netted $87,000. Was the next deal when I said we're no longer doing single family, only look at multifamily. What if I didn't tell him that and he would have just discarded that deal or blown over it because he wasn't focusing, he wasn't looking. It's like It's like, I just bought a Wrangler like a year and a half ago, and now I see Wranglers everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere anyways. Now they're really everywhere. It's like when you focus on it, when you're paying attention to it, you see the world gives that to you, and you really manifest it, right?
That's it.
And so buying apartments or getting the hell out of war zones is the exact same thing. Stop looking at deals in war zones. Just burn the ships. Say, hey, I'm not doing anything in D class areas anymore. I'm only buying in C class. And just by doing that, it makes it a very clear conversation in your head that you're no longer going to do those deals.
Wow. So what's your buy criteria then? Are you looking for like a certain return, or is it a cap rate? Like what's your perfect buy box?
Yeah, good question. For me, that changes over time.
Okay,
Like we were talking about when I first got started, I was in war zones, and then I was like, I'll start there, I'll make some money there, but I don't want to stay there. And then all of a sudden, I got into like some buy and holds, and I got into some bigger stuff, and I bought some small multifamily in C class areas that helped as a stepping stone to get me into bigger multifamily in B class areas. And now I have a bunch of B class property, B minus, B, and I'm selling about half of it in order to stick to like B plus kind of areas.
Yep.
And so I sold everything that's under 100 units in my portfolio. I only have 100 unit buildings and bigger now. I might have 2 or 3 that are still under 100, but I mean, my buy box today is very different than when I got started. And so when you're first getting started, the most important thing is just building your balance sheet, building your portfolio to 100 doors. That's it, because that's what makes you bankable in the bank's eyes and lendable to your private money investors, and gives you enough business acumen and resources and connections to really build and grow into bigger stuff. But if you come across a 100 unit, or you come across a 200 unit, that doesn't mean discard it. That means reach out to somebody in your local network.
That's it.
Or me, or Brent, or Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Like any one of us, and we'll come and bring in the balance sheet. Like I can sign on a loan, or I can raise the money, or I can help with operations. And then all of a sudden, you get into a deal that you couldn't have gotten into. I get into a deal that I couldn't have gotten into.
It's a win,
and
win,
we're able
win.
to build some wealth together.
Do you have a lot of people do that? Are a lot of people reaching out with opportunities?
all the time.
Is
That's
that
where most of my deals come from.
All right, Tim, we're bringing you deals.
And that is because you're loud.
Probably, yeah, because I talk about it.
That's
right?
it.
Like, what are you, a super secret agent? You expect people to say, "Hey, I want to raise, I want to invest in your deals," but how do they know?
Right.
Like, they're not just
No,
going to come to
seriously.
you and be like, I want to invest in your deals, or hey, I'm going to send you an apartment, unless you're telling people about it. I'm very vocal about it. Like, check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I'm always talking about building wealth, raising capital, how we pay our investors, that I'm buying apartment buildings, that I'm building apartment buildings. It is such a powerful tool if you're using it to create instead of just consume.
That's it.
Right? Like, I still consume, but I consume from very select sources. Like you guys
Turn the
have great
phone
value.
around.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
For
Yeah.
sure.
Dude, this is such a good episode. Thinking big, I feel like this is the perfect guest for it. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
dude.
There you go.
What are the best steps to take in raising money to underwrite apartment deals? So here's the first thing that I would do. It's always better to dig your well before you're thirsty. All right. Do I get the money first? Do I get the deal first? I would be doing both at all times. I'm still raising money all the time, even though we have an abundance of access to capital right now. I'm still talking about it all the time, because you never know. Because I mean, you guys are in real estate, right? Sometimes you're deal heavy, sometimes you're money heavy. You're very rarely both at the same time, So it's always a balancing act of finding deals, raising capital, marrying them together, and being aware of that. So I would always be talking about that. And even if you don't have a deal, here's what I would say to anybody that you know in your network. Hey, I'm working on Brent.
Yep.
Hey, I got a couple apartment buildings in the pipeline, probably closing the next 90 days. They're really penciling out nicely. Would you have any interest in passively partnering up on the money side?
Yes.
Boom.
All you need to do is take the temperature, right? All you need to do is plant the seed. Because once you have the deal, and then I go, Brent, you need to lend money on this deal. Like, all of a sudden, it's like me hunting, and usually the prey runs away, all right? Instead, I just want to put it out there, let them know that this is an opportunity that's going to be
Love
available.
this. Yep.
And then it's not like they don't have to understand, conceptualize, I didn't know that Tim even invested in apartment buildings. I've already told him. He knows that I'm working on deals. He knows the timeline is the next 90 days. He knows I want him to be involved passively, which means he knows that doesn't have to do anything, and I don't want him to do anything. Partner up, which means, that's a lot better than, hey, will you lend me money? Because usually you're like, no, because I'll probably never see it again. But partnering up's kind of sexy. It's kind of fun. And then the other thing is on the money side, right? So he knows the only thing I need from him is capital, right? He knows that his value to this deal is by bringing money to that deal. So I would plant those seeds. Hey, do you have any interest in passively partnering up on some of these apartment buildings that I'm working on, that I have coming down the pipeline in the next 90 to 120 days? And just take the temperature. Yes, I would be interested. Great. And then all of a sudden they're already warmed up. So when you present them a deal, now it's more about the deal, not absorbing, I didn't even know that they invest in apartments and that they buy them this way and that they pay their investors this way. That's all conversations already done. So now it's just, is this the right deal and the right timing?
Love it. Do you have a deal in the pipeline?
Yes. Always.
Yes.
Always.
I love it.
I can turn it on anytime.
When analyzing apartment buildings or multifamilies, what numbers do you use for monthly expenses, maintenance, etc., and what cap rates are most people looking for?
All right.
They're digging into you.
Yeah.
By the way, this will be the last question. You got to run, right?
Cool. Yeah, I got to jump on another podcast. But yeah, Chris, good question, right? When analyzing apartment buildings, what numbers do you use for monthly expenses and maintenance? So there are certain expense ratios and certain ratios that pop up in different markets. So for me, I started out buying a lot in the Midwest. In the Midwest, it's about a 50% expense ratio. So I underwrite deals based on the stabilized value. My method's always been like a BRRRR method: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then hold. And so I've always wanted to buy something that's distressed, create the appreciation by putting sweat equity into it, and then put the right tenants in place, put the right management in place, and then refinance into more of a long-term fixed rate loan. So for me, I can quickly analyze a deal by saying, hey, this is a 50-unit apartment building, and for ease of numbers, let's say, hey, it rents for $800 a month. That's $40,000 a month. If you annualize it, you always underwrite apartments and income property on an annualized basis. Annualized, that's $480,000. If most of my properties in Cleveland are about a 50% expense ratio, it's a little bit more expensive than most other areas. Okay. It's a little older housing stock. Typically the landlord pays heat. You got snow removal, you got ice and all that kind of stuff. And you have to just, there's a few more expenses than maybe in the Southeast or the Southwest. And so I'll take $480,000 and just quick off the top of my head, if it's a 50% expense ratio, cut it in half.
Yep.
So now you know that you're going to net around $240,000. Now it just comes out to what is the return on investment that you need. And if you want to buy it at a 7% cap rate, then you just divide by 0.07 and it gives you what your price could be. You might want to, and then you got to deduct out any kind of renovations and improvements and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's how we structure it.
Are you going 0.07 on the 240 or
Yes.
the 480?
On the 240, on the net.
Love it.
Yep. So you take cap rate. Cap rate is a return on investment, So let's say it nets $240,000 and you want a 10% return, you would pay up to $2.4 million for that deal. If you wanted only a 5% return, you might pay $4.8 million for that deal. Or somewhere in between based on your market and what kind of return you're looking for. But cap rate is just a word for return on investment. And I think that's probably the best way to buy. I know a lot of people buy based on cash on cash, internal rate of return, and all that stuff. Going back to just buying at a good basis, you know what I mean, Brent, is the most important thing. Making sure you're not overpaying for a property and really buying based on cap rate. Make sure that you're in at a good basis.
Love it. In that example, $3.4 million.
For 7%.
For 7% cap.
Yeah. And then if it needs any other additional improvements on top of that, then you would just deduct that out.
There you go.
So if it needs $10,000 a door, you'd take $500,000 off the table, and you'd pay somewhere in the $2.9 to $3 million range in order to buy, and that would be your maximum allowable offer.
Love it. And you're selling some of these properties, right? Getting it, and you're going to put it into another round of really great investments. Is it the age that you're looking for that you're investing in? Is it the area? Is it probably
Both.
a combination of both?
Yeah, both.
What's a great area? Oh my gosh, if I bought a Class A property in San Diego, it's the greatest. Or maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better in Nashville.
Yeah,
maybe it's better in Austin. Who knows?
Yeah.
Where's the
to me,
Yes.
there's a couple bullet points. Okay. One is if you're buying multifamily, I want to be in more of a red state, more of a landlord-friendly state.
Love it.
Okay. typically blue states are more tenant friendly. Like in New York, they're trying to get rid of evictions altogether, right? It's like, it's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
So, sorry for swearing, guys.
Yeah, no, we all speak French here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But really, like, what does the market have, right? If it's, I want to make sure there's some sort of economic anchor there. So is it a hospital, higher education, government work? Maybe it's
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, big business. Maybe there's a military base. Like, there's a lot of different things that can create other ancillary jobs around that. But there needs to be some big economic anchor. And if there's multiple economic anchors, you're in even better shape. So, the kind of tertiary markets, which is really where most of my properties have been, secondary and tertiary markets. I found some good deals in there. Now, I'm trying to move into more, not necessarily primary markets. Like, I'm not going to buy in Miami, but I would buy in Charleston, South Carolina. I would buy in Greenville, South Carolina. I'd buy in Charlotte. And that's because I live in Charleston. So I'm citing all these different markets because those are more the primary and secondary markets in the Southeast near my home. And I'm just buying more in that area because that's where my team is real heavy right now. But yeah, I think don't get in your own way. Just go out and start building your portfolio. Even if you are in a blue state, if you know how to navigate the landlord-tenant laws, just buy in your own backyard, and just start building up the portfolio. And then once you have some experience, and then once you have a team built out, and you have some private money lenders, and you're going from there, then it's time to look at different types of markets. But I don't think you need to really worry about that unless you're going real heavy with lots of money into a market.
Got it. Awesome. Tim, thank you for
Seriously.
being on
Thank you, Tim.
the show. Big thinking. Absolutely incredible. Go crush it with your other podcast. Thank you for being on
Appreciate
here.
you guys.
Guys, commercialempire.com. Commercialempire.com. Definitely check that out. It has an incredible event in April.
It's all virtual, right?
Yep.
So it's a live virtual event. You get access to recordings immediately of the last event. So you can plug in, get some info right now, and then ask real, one-on-one questions to me and my entire team in April too. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the value that you guys give.
Appreciate
you guys do an
Tim.
awesome job. It was an honor to be here.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, brother.
Have a good one.
All right, let's crack this open. What do you got for us, Albert? By the way, you've been taking a lot of notes over there. What? Let's peer inside your brain a little bit. What has? What are you writing down there?
Brian's head is naked.
Yeah,
I'm
look at
scribbling
this
down.
haircut.
I'm scribbling down these great notes here because Tim, phenomenal speaker, one, but two, he's just saying some great key points that really put you into thinking bigger. I'm thinking of like, what's the next door to flip? He's thinking the next 100 doors to rent out. So I'm like, whoa, that just flipped the switch. And these are really key notes that you should be writing down because it's great information that you should retain and just keep around. Was it muscle memory?
Yep.
Put it in muscle memory.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yep. It's incredible. He's got a mastermind as well. That's
Dude,
just
that's
absolutely
I gotta
phenomenal.
tell you, that was my first time actually meeting Tim. I've seen him all through social media, but I was just keeping my mouth shut there, taking notes too. I was like, all right, we're doing things too small.
That's it.
That's the show topic today, and I got my lesson.
You always want to be around people doing more than
Absolutely.
you. Always. It's
Absolutely.
incredible. So let's get to the question. Alejandro's
do it.
giving us the wrap it up, guys. Stop jibber jabbering. All right, Javier. After being fired around Thanksgiving, I've watched many wholesaling videos by Brent Daniels, TTP, and Jerry Norton. Now, I'm finally going to start cold calling today. This is incredible. Listen, taking the action, that is what it's all about. Even Tim was talking about it. It's about going out there and just failing forward, just taking the action every single day. It's literally, he's got two key principles for being a multi on his way to being a billionaire with a B. No doubt about it. Has a 24-month plan to do that with two principles. Take action and squat up. So congratulations, Javier. Wow. Don't do this alone. Find people in your local market. Find somebody that's going to cheerlead you. Find somebody that's going to make calls at the same time and just do it virtually. Do a Google Hangout, do a Zoom, a Skype, whatever it is while you're making your calls with somebody else and celebrate it with somebody else. I'm telling you, that makes it go so much easier. Take action and squat up. Congratulations, Javier. Go get a massive deal.
Love it.
Yep.
From Michelle, how bad does an ugly house have to be to just offer to buy the land, tear down the home, and put another one on there? And should you be worried if the home goes over the property line? Or should I just wholesale it? What is the number, 20%, 25%?
Listen, Michelle,
Oh boy.
you just answered it. The second part of this is perfect. Just wholesale it.
Just wholesale it.
Just wholesale it. I mean, listen, first of all, I mean, it depends on the condition of the property. If it's a tear down, it's a tear down. If it's condemned, it's condemned. But most houses, people think are tear downs, aren't really tear downs.
Absolutely.
You can
yeah.
rehab them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, she has a second part here.
Mm-hmm.
I do Uber and Lyft and found a really ugly one 2 nights ago that is vacant, and there is a lot next to it that has nothing on it to make the property bigger. That is why I'm asking how ugly to tear down. So I would see who the other owner is too. I mean, but
Yeah, first
there's
of
a
all,
lot
Michelle, go
lot of
call
money.
them.
Yeah.
You don't do any research. Don't get excited. Get excited. I mean, I want you excited. I want you to have energy, but be excited about the conversation you're about to have with that property owner. Okay? That's what I want you to be excited about.
And also, nice job. You're driving Uber and Lyft. You're doing exactly what you should be doing in that situation where you're writing down addresses for these ugly homes. Like,
Is that a deer? Is she kissing a deer?
you know, I was actually gonna say something too. There's somebody else that had drums going. I'm like, we almost have a full band here.
Yeah.
Like,
Donkey.
Oh, it might be a donkey. I think it's a
think
deer.
it
Let
kinda
us
looks
know,
like a
Michelle.
deer.
That's an incredible picture
The
either
nose
way.
is just too long to be a deer. I don't know.
It's too big.
Yeah.
We've got
gotta figure
we've got
this
a
one
lot of biologists here apparently.
oh, here.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Here you go, Brent.
Here we go. Yes, Jason, 2 weeks away. According to Matt here, he's putting it together. We're very excited about it. And we'll do some segments where we'll record me responding to questions, and it's going to be phenomenal. So Ryan definitely does. How do they find it?
Yeah, it's just the link in my Instagram bio. Ours is, I think it's like even discord.com/rollingwithZolin. Got to double check that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
just
double check. Links in our
links
bio.
in our bios.
One Ton Patriots back, and he
Oh,
closed his
snap.
first deal. Ring that for that, man.
Let's go. Let's go. Dude, he's actually selling it, and it's affordable.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
It's a really good deal.
It's a good deal. Won't,
All work together.
yeah, Albert,
Oh,
get that truck.
jeez.
Yeah, will it fit in your garage?
Jeez. No way.
Won't fit in
Gonna
my
blow out
garage.
the
I'll tell you
garage
that.
for that one.
Yeah, probably.
Thing's bigger than my house.
Congratulations. That is absolutely phenomenal. $15,000 first deal. The first deal is so critical because it changes your brain forever.
Makes you understand what's possible.
That's it. And you pulled it out of thin air. I mean, I think that's the most miraculous thing about this business is literally just having a quality conversation gets us the opportunities to make $15,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000.
And one deal.
One deal.
One deal.
One conversation.
One conversation
You're one call
changes-
away
Changes everything.
from a huge, life-changing, brain-breaking opportunity. And that's what happens. Your brain gets broken. It really does. And
Oh,
I want everybody's brain to be broken as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And to do that, you need to do a massive deal, which is 50K plus. So I push everybody to do a 50K because I want your brain to be broken and reassembled to think way bigger. It's incredible.
All right, from RGZ. When do you guys think it's best to move into this business full time, coming from a 9 to 5? Do you suggest having a certain amount of funds before quitting your 9 to 5? Phenomenal question. I think we have a pretty similar answer, but it's doing 3 months of, at least in my opinion, I would say having 2 deals a month for 3 months consecutively. I think yours is a dollar amount.
Yeah, you know, listen, if you've got 6 months of operating and living expenses, that's a good runway. I mean, typically a deal when you're from the first time you talk to them to getting it closed is about 90 days, right? So you need to build up your pipeline of opportunities and to build that consistency so that you don't have the fear of not being able to pay your bills or not being able do I have to go get the job again, all these things, right? So set aside 6 months for not only your business but also, I mean, your living for sure, but also your business.
There you go. Oh, snap. He's going to be in Queen Creek. Dude, that's in our
You're
hood.
gonna drive it down?
That's...
We
dude,
gotta, yeah.
That is our hood, bro. I mean, our office is
Oh
basically
man,
in
he's
Queen
trying to
Creek.
sell me that.
Yeah, go pop in on these guys. You're going to be right down the road. That's awesome. Reach
Literally.
out to him, DM him. I'd love to see a picture of you guys, stand in
Dude,
front of the.
I'm
To meet him.
Yeah,
gonna be
Yeah.
sitting on top
DM
of the truck.
me. DM me as well, and Alejandro will coordinate for sure.
Love it.
That's awesome. Steven, can we review why you guys don't like the 70% formula? Getting my offers laughed at time to time. I'm in California. Okay, great. So in California, You could basically offer retail.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on where you're at, Stephen. And it depends on the price point. If you're in a market where the price point's over 500,000 and there's a lack of inventory, you can get pretty close to, I would say 90% is probably the number that you want to work off of. And it just depends on how much repairs. So the issue with the 70%, I always go 84% to be honest, in our market. And even now it's like 90% because of hedge funds, right? And I'll let you get into what you're doing when you guys are evaluating, because I think you're going to be more impactful than I will here. But so if you go 70% of the value minus repairs and you offer that to somebody in California, yes, you are going to get laughed at. I mean, you'll get a massive deal eventually, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just enough
gonna take
swings in the plane.
a lot longer.
Yeah. But you can get up to, I would push that to 90% minus repairs, and see how that works for you, Stephen.
For sure.
What do you look at?
So it depends on the deal and who we're selling to. So for buy and hold investors, we're usually between 90 to 95%. With hedge funds, it's 104 to 108%. But then we're looking at our numbers and we've been reviewing them a little bit more carefully because we've same struggle right now, right? We yesterday, what was it, Albert? 2,500 listings.
2,800.
So there was 2,800 listings in Phoenix for us to go through yesterday. That was the lowest that I've seen since I've been in real estate for 6 years. So I completely understand.
It's the
what you're-
lowest, and I've been in since 2004.
Yep.
That's the lowest
Literally.
in our market, and we have way more houses
Yes.
than 2004.
For sure.
It's crazy.
Yep. And so our buy price, what we're offering, keep in mind our conversion has gone down a little bit, but we're between 77 to, like Brent said, 84%. So it just depends on location, obviously. Just like in California, it depends on where your offers are. For us, we've got very specific pockets that we know we could pay probably 90%, and by the time we sell it, we could still make 40, 50K when it's done.
And he's got a San Francisco Giants hat
gotta
on,
be
so if
San
you're in
Fran, bro.
San Francisco, bro,
Good luck.
just lock up anything.
Yeah, seriously though. Seriously. The air costs money out there.
Yeah. Yep. Marina asks, how much do you pay boots on the ground? For, I would assume that means your for virtual. For virtual, it just depends. You can get a lot of leverage out of bringing on a really great, new, fresh, stars in their eyes, electricity in their feet real estate agent that's just building their book of business, and you refer them all the leads that want retail, and they go on appointments for you in that market. You can have that relationship, right? So that's where I would start first. I wouldn't pay him anything, and then if you have to, you can give him a percentage of the deal, 10%, 6%, 6 to 10% is probably
Shit, you pay a
in
lot
there.
better
That's a
than-
lot.
You pay
Yeah,
a lot better than I do.
well, I think that you can send them enough referrals to where they're closing their own deals
No,
and
literally.
everybody's happy.
For sure.
Especially somebody that's just starting out that has no database
For sure.
of past clients, of their center of influence, getting referrals, all those things. Be the referral maker for Marina.
For sure.
Yep.
Only other thing I'll add in there is that if I were to just pay somebody to just go and take photos and maybe go out to the property once, I'm paying between $250 to $500.
Or hourly.
Yeah,
you
or
could do it by
hourly,
hourly
even
as
that
well.
too.
You could do it $20-$25 an hour
For
too.
sure. From CM Brown, how do you find buyers for these Warzone properties? So that's a tough one. I don't really mess around in too many war zones just because that's usually my biggest struggle is that properties are where the buyers are. They want to buy it so steep because of its location. So I don't really have an answer on that one. I don't know what you would recommend.
Yeah, I love that GTS. Google that shit.
Google that shit.
No, what I would do is I would Google all of the turnkey rental buyers in your market. That's what they do. They go into these neighborhoods and they fix them up, they stabilize it, they put a tenant in there, and then they sell it to some dentist that lives in,
Another state.
Fort Lauderdale or something. You know what I mean? That's what they do. They sell it to people that are high net worth, high income earners so that they can get the depreciation, get some cash flow, and it makes sense to them. So I would reach out to the turnkey rental buyers for sure, Sam.
All right, from IG, from Bryson Walker. When getting a deal under contract with the listing agent, how do you send her a written offer? So the written offer, I'm a little confused what you mean. Like when you're, like, I guess they're referring to probably getting a deal under contract.
Yeah.
So it depends on if they're representing you or not. If they're representing you in the transaction, which is kind of what I'm assuming you're talking about, you want to send them over an email with just what you're looking to have them put together in the contract for terms. So what does that mean? It's going to be the address, your purchase price, your earnest money amount, what is your due diligence or inspection period, and then on top of that, I always like to throw in a little disclosure. Buyer has the right to sell or market this property. And then most important, obviously, if I didn't already say it, was close date.
And listen, sending in the written offer is great, but over communicating with that agent is the secret sauce. I mean, Albert and I were talking about it before. What is your approach, Albert? How do you, when you send in a written offer to an agent, how do you make sure that they see it? How do you make sure that they're communicating with you? How do you make sure that you're kind of putting the best foot forward for that offer to be accepted?
I was literally just doing that, but it's over communication and
Are you- I
transparency.
saw you
That was
texting, and I was like,
legit what
I
I
hope
was
he's
just
paying attention.
doing. But it's over communication and transparency because we have a transaction coordinator. As soon as she sends the offer, I'm CC'd on it. I am sending a text 2 minutes later telling her it's in your inbox. And I'm reviewing the conversation that we had prior to this written offer because, as I've said before in the show, I'm a conversationalist. I love having conversations with the agents. I love picking apart certain details that are not business related because I can tie that back to my message later to where it kind of breaks the ice. It's not as serious and it's even a more fun comedic point that makes me more personal and they like talking to me. So over communication, transparency.
What's the percentage of people that just submit the offer, make the call that there's an offer, or don't even make that call? What's the percentage?
Oh, it's wild because when I call these agents, I tell them like, listen, I want to have a preface. I want to preface it by having a conversation with you, so I'm not blindly submitting an offer to you. And 99% of the time, they're laughing at it. They're like, oh, you have no ideas how many offer I have that's just sitting there. They have no idea where it came from.
Yep. They don't even know if they saw the property. They're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to go back through like
They haven't.
their lockbox records and emails and be like, did they go into this property at some time? If I had to give you a number, 95%.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Listen, Bryson, there's no competition with over communication. I'm telling you, use your personality, certainty and likability on the phone. Certainty and likability, and that's what Albert's talking about. He's literally texting right now, probably with some charm and some energy to it and really
Sending selfies.
Yeah, you know, just sending a picture of his beautiful smile. Yeah, no, I mean there's literally no competition, Bryson. Just over communicate and be
Yep.
super, super, super likable, right? Don't be pushing them. Don't be telling them what to do. Don't be pressuring them. It's a conversation. You're building a relationship because and this is something that I think is real interesting with your model. Is you can have agents that sell you 5 deals a year. 10
yes,
deals a year.
yes.
15 deals a year.
All day long.
You can have one agent that sells you 200 deals over the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen if they don't like you.
Absolutely. That's
It
the most
doesn't happen
important
if you're a jerk to them, if you're aggressive, if your tone is like has no energy. It's just ugh. You're just like, paint on a wall. You know what I mean? You're just like, ugh. You know what I mean? I don't know about that analogy.
Paint on.
I don't
We'll
know.
work on it.
Just kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like just you're not standing out.
Yeah.
Good SMS platform, batchleads.io. It's the best. Batchleads.io. Make sure you get the coupon code TTP in there, but that's who we use. It's been phenomenal, and we've done incredible deals on that platform. And it's really the Batch Leads. The beautiful thing I love about batchleads.io is when you skip trace through Batch, it's in your system. And so you're not, and it makes sure that you're not skip tracing the same addresses over and over and over and wasting money, which is phenomenal. So batchleads.io, coupon code TTP. Yep.
From Brandon, yo, just want to say thank you guys for adding so much value and advice. Just closed on 5th deal of the year, 14K today, closing on 19K deal tomorrow. Ugly houses, big checks. Let's fucking go.
Brandon.
What's up,
I see
Brandon?
you.
By the way, it is March 3rd. Okay, we're 60 days into the year, and he's closed 5 deals.
Yes.
Yeah.
He closes a deal every 6 days.
Yes.
No,
Well,
Oh, wait.
10
no,
days.
10 days.
12 days.
What does it come out to, Albert?
Something like that.
Math. 60 divided by 5. 12. Math.
There you go.
I know 3%. That's it.
Too much bourbon with Tim Bratz last night. Can't do math.
Yeah, we heard.
There you go.
All right.
When applying for a DUNS number for business credit, do you use the registered agent address, the physical address on the LLC documents, or the Regis business address?
What the hell's a DUNS number?
When applying for business credit, no idea. Over my head. I have no idea. Do you?
I don't know what a DUNS number is.
Can you be a little bit? Just give me not a CPA. There you go. Can you also put not an attorney? But yeah, give us a little bit more info there. Give us what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get business credit to buy properties?
A little more context.
Yeah, give us a little bit more. Awesome.
It's a toll-free number.
No, that's the number to call in.
Oh. We're trying to look it up.
All
Okay.
right. No.
We don't know.
We're Googling DUNS. Brent, what time should I stop cold calling? I typically do 7 a.m.
We're
to...
not a CPA. That's the answer. It has to do with CPA stuff.
Okay, CPA. So, okay. I typically do 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. What do you think? I love it, Dion. Perfect. But the rule of thumb is if the sun's up, awesome. You're going to have better conversations. You're going to have better contact rate. If you can't call because you're working and you have to call later, do it. I mean, it's better than not calling.
Amen.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't call after 8 p.m. to be honest.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. I think after 8 is like typically when people start like putting the phones away.
Yeah.
It's like get ready for bed, handle the kids.
That's
all
it.
the fun stuff.
Any local time or
I
their
was
time?
like, wow, that just.
Local time.
Dylan, Brent, left my job and have been wholesaling full-time in my market, Tampa Bay, for the past 7 months. Done one deal so far. I'm struggling because things are so saturated here. Would you suggest virtual? Go ahead.
We're in Arizona. I just told you we got 2,800 listings active, and my entire business model is working with agents and MLS deals. We still pulled over 5 transactions last month. We still did over 6 figures. There is no such thing as too saturated. There's so many opportunities. I even had an eye-opener experience when I was talking to Tim on the show earlier, and he said, how many distressed property or multifamily properties were there? How many are there total?
21 million.
21 million multifamily. I mean, that goes to show you that the opportunities are there. You just got to start thinking about it. You got to manifest it. What I would actually recommend is I would challenge you to start squatting up with some more people that are local or in your market and figure out how they're doing deals. Find ways to bring them value, and guess what? You guys could have them bring you a deal, and then you bring it to a buyer. You guys JV deals back and forth. That's what I'd recommend.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dylan. I think Tampa Bay is a phenomenal market.
Absolutely.
I have students in there that have
We do deals in Tampa Bay.
absolutely crushed it. You do deals
Yeah.
in Tampa.
Tampa.
I think that there's a lot of opportunity. There's more deals than there are investors. I would stick to the plan. One deal out of 200 conversations.
Focus.
199 people are going to reject you. They are. 199 people will not do business with you. One will. Just find that one. Just focus on that one.
That's all you need.
That's it. And the more people you talk to, the faster you get there. So I don't. We live in Phoenix, which is notoriously the most saturated with investors, with gurus,
literally.
with lack of inventory, all these things, and still we're gonna have the best year ever. We had the best year ever last year.
And the year before that. And
Yeah.
the year before that.
Yeah, right. I mean, it just keeps building, brother. You got this. Stay focused.
Keep
Stay
going.
optimistic. Stay optimistic. There you go.
From Roy. Is there a cheat sheet to find repair costs for wholesale deals?
Oh, yes, there is, Roy.
Did you say add 10 to these?
Yeah. So on this, Roy,
Yeah, I have.
this is the new one. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Here-
we're working on it. Just 1 second.
Oh, we're working on it, Roy. We'll pop that up and just take a screenshot when we put it on the screen here if you got your phone. Or if you're watching this,
Here
take
you
a
go.
picture with your camera. Here we go. Boom. Updated. Fix and flip repair costs. There you go. I added 10K to this chart because of inflation. No, labor costs, supply chain, inflation, for real. I really did. All of it. All of it's costing more,
boy.
about 10K more per deal. So use this. And by the way, the top line there is the square footage.
Yes.
That's the size of the house. Okay? There you go.
From Tyler C. How many people should I be reaching out to per hour on the phone?
Reaching per how many contacts?
Yeah.
Typically about 10, Tyler. 10 to 15 is good. You want to keep a 7 to 10% contact rate.
Now, is that on a dialer, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're hand dialing, it's going to be much, much less than that. You can cut that by
Half even.
a third. I mean, you could cut it all the way down to a third of that. Because when you use a dialer, it's calling 3 numbers at the same time, doing it automatically.
Yep.
And if you're just hand dialing, then you're going to talk to 3 to 5 people typically.
From Jean Carlos Mendez. How do you show cash buyers a property you have under contract from the MLS? What do you say to the agent? That's a great question. So when you're showing the property that you have under contract from the MLS, what you want to do is typically tell them that it's going to be a contractor, an inspector, a partner that's going to be going out with the property to see it. So a lot of times, like, we'll either meet them out there or we'll make sure the seller isn't going to be there. However, the one key thing to understand is if the agent or the seller is going to be there, I would highly advise you or your boots on the ground be there to show the property, because the last thing you want is any type of conversation between who are you the buyer, and just things getting a little awkward after the fact. So that's what I would recommend.
There you go. Perfect. Dylan asks, when talking with a tired landlord, how do you represent yourself? If wholesaling, do you tell them the tenant will need to cooperate with your buyers, or do you say you are buying with partners? Well, first of all, honesty always works. But what I will tell you, Dylan, is being the buyer is more powerful, and it's
Correct.
more people understand what that is. So I encourage you, as always, have a financial backer. Have somebody that is willing to put down the 20% if you need it for to get hard money for the deal, or find somebody that lends 100% financing in your market. Do that. I mean, they're around. I'm telling you, just have that so that you can confidently go as the buyer. Because I think as you go to this property and you're looking at it with the eyes of the buyer, you're going to get the best deal, because you're not going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to just lock this up and try. No. You got to look at this. If you had to buy this property, is it a good deal? That's a wonderful filter. And then you're not lying to the owner of the property saying, yeah, I'm going to buy this property, and then you wholesale it, right? It's in the paperwork. If you have a wholesaling contract, it shows that you have the right to market it and to assign the contract to somebody else. So you can certainly disclose it there when you're having that conversation. But as you're going with the confidence of a buyer, imagine you walking into a house and you've got $20 million in your bank account, which is essentially what like a hard money has available at all times. You're going to feel a lot more confident going out there and being like, okay, great. And you're going to negotiate a better deal. So if you just go there and you're like, well, I actually put these properties under contract, and then I sell this contract to one of my, to another buyer in the area, and that's how I make my money, you're going to confuse the hell out of all of those property owners.
Yep.
You really will.
And you're not
If you
gonna
want to
get-
do it. Be honest. I mean, whatever you want to do. But I would say, without a doubt, you will have way more confidence, close way more deals if you have the ability to close those deals. You need to have the ability if you're going to go in as the buyer. If you don't, if you want to skip that whole step for whatever crazy reason, then you're going to have to say, yes, I'm going to sell this piece of paper that we're signing to somebody else. Which one? It's a lot easier to just call up a hard money lender and say, hey, do you do 100%?
Yep. I love what you say about that. Always have the actual ability to be the buyer. If you don't have the actual buying capability, you shouldn't be getting these properties under contract.
That's it. Awesome. Armando, hi Brent. Has the batch dialer been fixed yet? By the way, I'm joining the TTP program soon. I am here with open arms, brother. That is incredible. They've done a really good job. The issue is a lot of the updates that they've done kind of screws up the settings, and if you don't get the settings right, it doesn't connect you with as many people. So what I would say is, if you're having any issues with batch dialer, reach out to their team. Or if you want to go bananas, DM me And I will literally walk over there, or Alejandro will, and we will get somebody on the phone with you. For real. I'm not joking about this. This is how serious I am about this audience and about, what we can do for you. For real. Take advantage of it. If you're having issues, DM us, and we will get somebody on that team on the phone. They're right there. They're literally right there.
Two-part question.
Two-part question. Ooh, exciting.
From Desiree, what is the most effective way to build a solid buyer's list? 2, when just wholesaling assignment fee contracts, do we need to have an LLC in the first few deals? So, okay, there's another part. Thank you for all the valuable info. I heard TTP team is not able to attend Clever Summit in Vegas. I was really looking forward to squatting up. Will the Zolin group be attending? We will.
You're going to the Clever Summit?
We are.
Are you really?
We are.
Are you speaking?
Not speaking, but I will be there watching.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be in Disneyland. So the first question, first of all, there is, Desiree, in TTP Insider, there is the Cash Buyer Pack. It shows you step by step how to get the top 100 buyers. I would definitely get that. It's free, and start implementing it right away. All right? I mean, it's basically just reaching out to all the best buyers that are literally raising their hands online, being able to go find them and have a good conversation with them. And I'll show you how to do all that. So get the Cash Buyer Pack. The second part of that is not an attorney and not a CPA, but everything that I do is in my company's name.
Correct. And I did my first handful of deals as Ryan Zolin,
Sure.
and then I had an LLC.
That's it.
So,
But if you have an LLC, it does affect your tax liability,
correct.
not a CPA.
Another two-part question.
Oh, a double two-parter.
Let's keep them going.
Yeah. Cian asks, how many days on average does it take from first contact to closing a deal? 90. 90 days is the average. Now, your first 90 days in this business of consistently reaching out, being
Yeah.
proactive, really building up your pipeline of leads is the most critical 90 days in your business. I'm telling you. Because that 90 days is what crushes 90% of people that try this business. For real.
Sure, for sure.
It's
It's
just
it's mindset.
That's it.
No paycheck. It's like am I doing the right steps? Like,
can I do this? Yeah. All the insecurities
alone.
come out.
Oh, yeah.
All the fears come out. All the hallucinations come out in that 90 days. And then boom,
Then you get a deal.
do a
And
deal
you're
and your
like-
brain's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right? You're going through it right now.
Yeah.
You're going through it right now. Yeah.
I'm doing 5 calls a day.
Yeah. Aaron, my audio extraordinaire, is driving for dollars and calling up people. It's incredible.
Love it. What's the fastest way I can get my first deal virtual, cold calling, or driving for dollars? I have to side with Brent on this one. I think driving for dollars is the most powerful list you could have because it is real time. And the best part is you can mix driving for dollars with door knocking.
Yeah, that's it. And by the way, the new video comes out tomorrow, but I break down the incredible. You can now virtually drive for dollars in Deal Machine.
Wow.
On your computer. You don't have to go to Google Maps. You don't have to get an attachment. You don't have to do anything. There's literally no excuse to not build your driving for dollars list, and you can drive around virtually, so you don't even have to leave your couch.
There you go.
And you can build an incredible list. And then, you can have the best list in the world, but if you're not having a quality conversation, nothing happens. So make sure that you reach out and you call them and have a good conversation. There you go.
Oh, lost it. It's back. All right, from Dustin. Since PropStream lost their sold comps, is it worth purchasing it at this point if I have batch?
You're good, Dustin.
Yeah, I don't think you need it.
Yep. Yeah.
From Corey, I've been a nuclear operator for 9 years, and we
Okay.
can't make mistakes. This
Okay.
is contrary to your philosophy of massive imperfect in action. Any advice on how to reprogram my brain?
Yes, Corey.
I'm struggling.
Yes, Corey. Pick up a phone and just call somebody
Just call.
and see what happens. Just don't.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, don't stop. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, keep just making the calls and building up your consistency with that. Build up your reps, build up your endurance on the phone, because I assume as an operator, you're probably not having hours and hours and hours of conversations every day. So you're going to have to build up your endurance for talking to a lot of people, understanding their personality, understanding their communication styles. All of this happens. That's why I tell everybody, I don't care if you have $10 million in the bank and you're starting this business, you need to talk to 1,000 people about real estate as soon as possible.
Yep.
Because after 1,000, you're changed forever.
Yep.
It's a skill. It's staying in there. It blends into all of your life. It's an incredible power once you have it. So
Don't cut the red wire.
yeah, that's it. Don't do that, and don't overthink this. Ugly houses, big checks. That's it. Find those ugly houses. Have a quality conversation. You win.
From Rebus Solutions, how do novation agreements work and what's the benefit for the seller and the wholesaler? So correct me if I'm wrong on this one.
Go for it.
With the seller, they are basically not able to go in and do the repairs of the house.
Right.
So the wholesaler makes an agreement with the seller that they will go in, they
You're
will
partners.
renovate the property. Yep. You become partners with the homeowner. You then renovate the property, which is going to be able to net them more money because they're going to be able to sell it for more dollars than what they could in the condition it's in. And then the wholesaler and the seller have some kind of an agreement where they're going to split the profits afterwards.
I think it's a nightmare.
It is. I don't like going into
I'm
business
telling you
with
right now, I don't want to go be a business partner with the sellers that we are talking to. I just don't. They're
Yep.
too squirrely. They're too they
Emotional.
yeah. There's just a lot of things wrapped in there. I know it's an interesting and exciting strategy. I think it's a lot more exciting to find ugly houses and get big checks. So I would find the properties that need the most love in your in your community. Get them under contract, sell it to somebody that's going to do something special with those. If you run into a novation agreement, I don't know, find somebody in your market that does novation agreements.
Correct.
Because first of all, you don't realize that it's going to be a 6 to 12 month process before you get paid on any of it. Okay, that's the first thing. I mean, you might be able to get some fee from the seller up front or something like that, but it's not going to be
No.
$15K.
And then you've got to
It's not
split
gonna
the
be
profit with
30K.
them? Come on.
And then who's going to do the design?
That's what I'm
Who's
saying.
going to pick out the fixtures?
Yeah.
Who's going to pick out the
And
the backsplash tile?
They couldn't even keep the house upgraded. Now
That's
you
it.
got to go do all that work for them and split. No, I don't know.
I think it's
too much, too
interesting
much.
in higher end markets. I really do. I think that there's some juice there for sure, but I think that is a business in itself. You either focus on going after novations or you focus on ugly
Correct.
houses and big checks.
Yes.
Because if you try to do it all, Rebus, it's going to be a nightmare for you.
Yeah.
And once you get into one of those deals and you still need income coming in from wholesale and you're like playing both sides, everything falls apart. All the balls drop. You're juggling too much; they all fall, and then you have to like dig yourself out of that. I don't want you. I want you like going like this. It might not be like this, but it's like this for forever. You know what I mean? That's yeah.
I think that was a better analogy.
Yeah.
Juggling.
Yeah,
rather than
I
paint.
think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, from John, full-time call center rep and making 6 hours of calls a week and hiring a part-time cold caller. I wanted to add virtual driving for dollars. How can I go about hiring a VA? Any tips?
I have a lot of tips for you,
Let's hear
John.
'em.
First of all, definitely check out Deal Machine. You can do it in there. And what I would do is very simple. Do a screen flow, like a screen recording of you doing it yourself for 30 minutes. Every single step. This is what I'm looking for, and you record it, and you talk while you're doing it. I like this because this house doesn't have landscaping in the front yard. It's got a bunch of, debris. It has a bunch of cars. It has a bunch of, the screens are all torn up, whatever it is. Go through what they're looking for. And if you need a guide for that, that's in TTP Insider as well. But get a guide for it. Do a 30-minute recording of you actually doing it and then send it to somebody. Have them test it out before you hire them. Have them do it for free for an hour. And then if they do it and they do it correctly and you like the leads that they're sending you, boom. You got it. And the beautiful thing is, in this new system, it shows you how many properties they find, how long they were looking for them, and it tracks what areas you already went to. It's bananas. So, I mean,
Bananas.
they literally set it up to make it exactly what you're looking for, John. I'm telling you.
Forever Mona? This podcast just motivated me 100%. Brent, you just sent me and my members area wholesaling for beginners. Do you have a mentorship program?
Yes, absolutely. TTPcall.com. TTPcall.com.
There you go.
That is my life, is coaching. So I'd love for you to take a look at it. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call and see if it's the right fit.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, okay. From JE, I closed 6 deals in January, 4 MLS and 2 off market. Thanks for the gems, guys. MLS is
You're
definitely a
ringing this one.
plus. I might start hitting the AZ market. Okay.
Hey.
I see you with those MLS deals.
Will you tell people what's coming up?
Yeah, so we actually just launched this. Gave the information of the launch,
the preview.
words. April 1st, Agent Investors is my course coming out. I'm super excited. It is specifically for doing MLS deals nationwide, as well as working with real estate agents. So this course is called Agent Investors. The acronym is AI. So we are also including some NFTs with robots. Super, super excited for you guys. Can't wait to get this thing rocking and rolling.
It's going to be bananas, guys.
Yes.
How do they, it's not out yet, how do they get,
Yeah, so right now the best thing you could do is go to agentinvestors.com /raffle.
with an S, Agent Investors, can we put that in there?
Yep,
Matt?
agentinvestors.com /raffle. Right now we are actually doing a giveaway for a free NFT and a free course to one lucky winner. We're going to be announcing it at our meetup April 5th, which Brent will be
That's
at.
right,
Yep.
live.
Finally got him.
That's it.
But yeah, we're
be
super
exciting.
excited. This is going to be the best MLS course ever made.
Awesome. Awesome. One more, and then we'll close it out. Yeah.
This guy needs help with a comp, but what is that thing that Jeremy's doing?
The thing that Jeremy's helping people sell their deals.
Investor lift?
Yeah, if you need help selling your deals, or you've got something that is a great deal, you need help locking it up, whatever. Jeremy at offerarizona.com. Jeremy at offerarizona.com. What?
It's that template. They want us to start doing that template.
What template?
There's a template.
Oh, shoot, that's right. On TTP Insider. And TTP, sorry. It's better if you go and put it in the template at TTP Insider. You can put it in if you need help disposing of it. Do we know what it's called?
I thought you did. I couldn't remember.
It's there.
But
Okay.
there is a template for people to put their
JV.
comps
I think it's called
JV.
joint venture. I think it's JV or joint venturing on TTP Insider. If you got a great deal, you need help moving it, we've got a lot of buyers. Would love to help you out.
There you go.
Awesome. And when is that meetup for everybody that's in Phoenix?
So we're going to definitely remind you guys the next few weeks again. But April 5th,
Love it.
Tuesday, I've got some pretty big hitters coming. We've got Alex Stein speaking. We've got Brent. I'm working on getting Steve Trang. We've got a few other surprises. But it's going to be a lot of giveaways. It's going to be a fun
Listen,
one.
I'm going to suck the air out of the room. You better not bring anybody else in. All
Bro,
right?
I'm not worried about you sucking the energy. You're going to be Brent's got his own
that's
energy.
it. That's it. That's
Hell yeah.
it. Alejandro spoke at it 2 days ago
Yep.
and crushed it.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal. So if you're in Phoenix, definitely join us, guys. We love you. Thank you for joining us on here. If you can, before you go, hit the like button. If you got value out of this, it really helps us out. And I want to bring more people into our world. So help us out. That'd be awesome. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up,